Boys and girls, I hope you've been having some good times since I last saw you. If you live in America, you probably celebrated Memorial Day. The summer weather is coming up soon, and I thought it'd be fun to paint some fruit with you today. So I have my children's watercolors and I have some salt. This is the kind of salt I use in the house. So it's a great big jar, but really any salt will do, okay? And I'm going to get a brush. I always suggest that you get a little bit better brush than the one that comes in your set. It doesn't have to be an amazing brush, but just a little better. Because the ones that come in your set, like this, they're usually just not very good or helpful. I'll show you a little closer. They're just kind of made real stiff and they make things hard. It's okay to use children paints, but if you use a children brush, that may not help you. So if you get any kind of brush, it doesn't have to be amazing. This was a brush I got from a Museum of Fine Arts for $1, but any brush that you can find. Here is something from Amazon that's a decent brush, a Larry. They come in a whole set, maybe more than you want, but they're decent too. Or you could probably just go to any kind of store that sells arts and crafts and just get one that just is a little bit better than the one they lay inside. The ones they put inside the kits are just kind of there just to have. So let's talk about an orange. So the first thing I'm going to do is get some orange watercolor. Now, if your kit doesn't have orange, then you would mix yellow and red. And depending on the yellow and depending on the red, it would look differently with the orange. So I'm adding a certain amount of water. Do you see that I don't keep putting more water in? I have a little water and that's all I need. And I'm going to make something round. Now, if you want to first trace it, you may. The reason I'm not tracing it is a lot of oranges are not a perfect size. They're not a perfect round. But one little trick I use when I paint things round is I go one way first, and then I go the other way second, and then I connect them. Now I'm going to get a little water and just put that watery part in the middle. And then I'm just going to kind of connect where it feels like it could use a little help. So there's my first orange. It's not a perfect round orange and I don't need it to be. The next thing I want to do with this orange is I want to take some paper towel or some tissue. And I'm probably going to rip it in half, but if you want to use it whole, that's okay too. And I'm going to take my one side of the tissue and I'm going to crinkle it up and I'm going to press it down on a few spots on my orange. Do you know why I'm doing that? It's just to make it look more like orange peel. And you need it a little bit wet to do that. So here's my orange. I'm thinking this side looks a little weird. Well, maybe I'll do another orange and then we won't notice. How's that? Because that side doesn't quite make sense. So here's another orange. And maybe I'll do a design of oranges and maybe even lemons, a lemon or two in there too. So remember, we go on one side first. This one's slanted. I'm getting a little more water because my paint was starting to dry out. And then I'm going to go on this side next. And then I'm going to move the middle and make it kind of wet and gushy. And then I'm going to take my paper towel and I'm going to tap it in the middle of it. So it has kind of an orange peel look. So there you go. If you go outside the lines when you tap, you might make a couple little smears, but I'm okay if you're okay. Now I'm going to rinse my brush really good. I'm not going to make a mess. You know what I like to do when I'm rinsing? I'll put it in front so you can see. I like to tap the side of the brush on the side and see if it runs out clear or still has paint. It also takes off when you have too much water. So now I think I'm going to do yellow. Now every paint set has different colors. And if you don't have yellow, then don't do lemons. Or you might have a brighter yellow. So this lemons are smaller, aren't they? Lemons are smaller than oranges usually. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm doing a little smaller and a little bit more oblong. You know, this is closer to a circle and this is closer to like an egg. I'm going to make sure it's wet. There. And then I'm going to find a clean spot so I don't put orange on it. And I'm going to do the same thing. I might just do it on one side. That looks kind of cool, don't you think? Just because it kind of shows that it's darker and lighter, it makes it look a little bit more round. So now I have 2 oranges and 1 lemon. Now I'm going to go in and find some green. I'm rinsing my brush, and I don't have a lot of green on this. This is green underneath this blue. It's kind of like a lime green. So I'm wetting it and cleaning off the top. And if I need to, I'll take that same paper towel and I'll take off the top and clean it a little better. So there is the green that this one has. And I'm going to pretend this is the green of the orange. I'm just tapping in a little section. And I'm going to put this one in a different spot so they don't look exactly the same. And then I'm going to put this one right up here. So there we are with different parts that have just a little bit of a stem. And then I'm going to wipe off extra and I'm going to kind of make it look just like it's the top of the orange. See what I'm doing? Kind of like a sunburst. And I'm probably going to do a little bit on this one too. And that one I'm just kind of tapping in and I'm going to move it down just a little bit, kind of blend it out. Now, you know, I suggested that you have some salt with you. So let me show you what we can do with salt instead of using the paper towel. So I'll do 1 more lemon. How about that? So here is the lemon. I'll put it right down here. And I'm doing first one way, then the other way. I'm going to add more color. Lemon, lemon. And I might put a tiny orange just for fun. Make it kind of a warmer, an orangey yellow. And then I'm going to take my salt and I'm going to shake in. I'll put it in my hand first so you can see I'm not using much. There we go. And see that? And I'm going to shake it into the lemon. And what I want it to do, if it's wet enough, is kind of make it have an interesting little kind of texture, you know, like a ripply. And I might try it on some orange too. I'm going to put some more color on the orange over here. I put real watery, kind of like a yellowy color, and I'm going to shake a little bit of orange salt on that. Has to be a little damp or it won't work. There we go. Whoa, I got so much that time. And that's fine. So we have oranges and we have lemons and there's 1, 2, 3, 4 citrus fruit. 2 are oranges, 2 are lemons, right? I'm going to get a little more green. I'm going to put a little green right on this side. I want them to all look, instead of looking like they're all lined up like little soldiers, I want them to all have, like this one looks like it's facing that way. This one looks like it's on its side a little bit. This in the middle and this facing this way, right? And I'm taking my wet green and I'm kind of blending. It's real wet. It's kind of like a yellowy green. And I'm going to just kind of tap on a few spots for fun. And now let's see if that salt did anything. So I want to be neat. I have a little black plastic cover on my table. So I'm going to tap it off. And see all that salt? I'm going to neatly put it in a little pile and take it off my table. I got my hand here, I'm collecting it, but you could put it into a plate too. You just don't want salt all over. And I'm putting it in a wastebasket. So now we can see what the salt did. And my yellow was a little bit wet, so it dripped when I was tapping on the card. So salt made all of the colors get kind of rough. See that? So I can either wait for it to finish drying and really tap some more, or I can just leave it on there. I can also put a little bit of paint right on it, and that kind of seals it in and makes it kind of fun. And if I need to, I can take my paper towel and I'm going to get a little texture there, a little texture there, and here. So there are my three types of them. I did only paper towel there. I did paper towel and salt here. I did only a little paper towel and salt only here. But then again, I did put paper towels. So I guess it's not 3 different ways. It's 2 different ways for 2 fruits. So there you go. Now, for those of you kids that have painted for a while, maybe some of the older kids or maybe their parents or grandparents watching, another thing you can do is I'm going to add just a little bit more yellow because, when it dries, it can get lighter. Watercolor gets lighter as it dries. So I'm making a little bigger and a little brighter. And I think I'm going to make the lemon have just a little dent on the bottom. What do you think? Do you like that? You know how lemons have like a little pucker, and I think that will help. And then I'm going to take a little bit more green and tap it here. There, that helps a little bit, don't you think? Okay. Now, if you're a little older or you've got an adult painting with you, you can also put a little shadow under it. You can use any color for shadow. You could use purple. You could use brown. I'm going to use a little black, but I'm going to use a lot of water so it almost looks gray. And I'm just going to take it and I'm just going to blend it underneath each of the fruits just to add a little bit of shadows as if they're kind of balanced on a table. This one's really balanced. This one's an aerobic orange. And sometimes adding just a little bit of shadow, putting your brush back and forth flat, just kind of adds to a little bit of fun. I'm going to make it look like the orange is a little bigger than the rest in the shadow. So there we have some citrus, and we used a couple colors to blend in, and we mainly used orange, yellow, and green, and we used a little salt to make an orange texture. See if I can show you from this camera. See, kind of has an orange texture, doesn't it? And we used a little paper towel to have some too. So I hope you had fun with that. It makes me feel like I'm in a mood to like have orange juice or something. I don't know about you. So there's some fruit to play around with. See you soon. Until next time, okay? Bye-bye.